Visit the website www.hypnoticaudiosecrets.com for more information. Recording vocals at home presents a very unique challenge for most people. It's very common now for people to do their vocals at home. Even though I get a chance to work in multi-million-dollar recording studios, and some of the artists I work with have, multi-million-dollar studios right in their home, the average person usually is set up in a bedroom or a living room or some kind of office room or something like that, where they've set up their equipment, and that's their studio, and you have to make it work. It presents a lot of challenges because it's not an ideal environment. You have a square box that's going to present resonating frequencies around the room that can give you problems. And some of the top 5 mistakes, especially for recording vocals, are as follows. If you do these things, they'll help you clean up and clear up your vocals tremendously and make them stand out when you go to do your final mix a lot easier. So here are the top 5 mistakes that I think most people make, and if you pay attention to these, they'll make your vocal recordings much better. Number 1, not using filters. Okay, most people that are in the business at all of recording usually have some idea of what filters are. But in case you don't, I'll explain. A filter is a part of the EQ that steeply chops off the frequencies either below a certain level that you set, a certain point that you set, or either above a certain point that you set. The filters are usually placed at the very ends of the EQ spectrum, and then you just work your way up. So, for example, you can have low filters, which are called high-pass filters because they filter off the lows and they pass the highs. And high-pass filters, you've seen this little symbol, and if you don't know what it means, it looks like a flat line, and then on the left-hand side of it, it's a sharp slope. On the left-hand side, there's a sharp slope where it just falls right off very quick. That's the filters. Basically, if you think of it like a cliff. And the opposite is on for the high end, the high filter, which is called a low-pass filter, filters off the highs. It passes the lows and filters off the highs. So if you look at it, it's a flat line and then a steep fall off on the right side that looks like a cliff on the right side. That's representing the highs because the highs are usually on the right. The lows are usually on the left when you look at any kind of EQ graph. And if you want to clean up your vocal sound, and in fact clean up most sounds where you're recording with a microphone, unless it's a kick drum or unless it's a bass being amplified and mic'd, because what that'll do is that'll clean out a whole lot of junk from your signal. The low frequencies are what sucks up all the power. Highs are very easy for speakers to reproduce. Lows take a lot more power. They make, if you ever watch your speakers and you see them pulsing, that's because of the lows usually making the speakers pulse in and out. If you just watch them, you can see it, especially if you turn it up very loud. So you can have more energy where they can handle more energy and not work so hard if you filter out lows that you don't need. And the vocals don't go but so low. So you can automatically, as a kind of general rule of thumb, I usually pop on, if there's a board that has a button that has a filter, most of the time they're usually somewhere around like 85 hertz. You see the signal says 85 Hz or something similar. And usually it's somewhere within that area, sometimes it'll be 85, 80, 75. So when you set it at around 85, that's a good safe area because, 60 is kind of where power is, where your kick drums and your bass and all that stuff is going to be down in that low area between 40, 60, 80, and that general area is where a lot of the pulsing power is. So you want to free up a lot of that power. Do that pretty much for any time you're going to do vocals because you can always add a little more warmth on your vocals in the area where it will be helpful and not add mud. Thank you, and I'll talk to you next time. Just go to hypnoticaudiosecrets.com for more information. Also, just go to Khaliq-O-Vision.com and get your free 7-part mini course. It'll be very helpful. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode.